Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Let's see what there is to talk about. Oh, I love this story. I love it. Gvozdyk keen to nail down BENAVIDEZ fight in June in Las Vegas. I love this for so many different reasons. Mauricio Sulaiman announced this yesterday. It isn't done, but hopefully we do have some announcement next week that BENAVIDEZ will jump up to 175 and take on former WBC light heavyweight champion Gvozdyk, who has bounced back after that defeat and long time out of the ring after the Beterbiev fight. I love this, as I said, for so many different reasons. Firstly, I love it because I think it's a fantastic matchup. Again, Gvozdyk did have that long time out of the ring. I think it was nearly 4 years. He had a gimme fight and then he took on Bolotniks, if you guys remember, on the undercard of Canelo Ryder, and destroyed Bolotniks. And look, I'm not making out Bolotniks to be some world beater, but he's a very solid gatekeeper. I did Bolotniks versus a guy called Sepp in Spain, and Sepp was a very good amateur and Bolotniks beat him. The fight before that, I think Bolotniks lost to Buatsi, but pushed Buatsi a little bit. So Bolotniks, basically what I'm trying to say is no scrub, and Gvozdyk made him look like a scrub. And then he had a fight in September, a little 8-rounder just to stay busy, and knocked that guy out in 2 rounds. Gvozdyk's back. I think Gvozdyk's back. I don't know at what 35, 36 that he's still what he was when he beat Adonis Stevenson for the WBC title, but he is a very, very good 175 pounder and a big 175 as well. It's funny because I look at BENAVIDEZ as a bit of a weight bully because he's so much bigger than anyone at 168. But you move up just 7 pounds, all of a sudden you're just the same size. You're the same size as everyone, and then it's a case of skills pay the bills. Gvozdyk is very, very skillful, very good amateur, who's a good puncher, boxing brain. He obviously comes from that same camp as Loma and Usyk. I'm in love with this fight, and hopefully it gets done. And obviously for BENAVIDEZ, look, he wants the Canelo fight, but if you can't get the Canelo fight, there are some money fights in the 175 division. Some will say, well, there's still some good fights for him at 168, likes of David Morrell, and Mbili's around, Munguia, Berlanga. But if I'm him, I'm looking at this potentially to set me on path for the winner of Bivol Beterbiev. I can't remember who it was on social media, Twitter, that said a fight that he would love to see that no one's talking about. And he said BENAVIDEZ versus Beterbiev. And I was like, wait a minute, I've never thought of that fight. And it's funny because they're only a weight class apart, but that one there is brick versus brick. You know, I'm team Bivol, and I hope Bivol gets past Beterbiev, but if he doesn't, and there's no rematch clause, in an ideal world, if BENAVIDEZ can get past Gvozdyk and Beterbiev can get past Bivol, I mean, fucking hell, Beterbiev versus BENAVIDEZ. That is just carnage. Absolute carnage. And I'm here for it. I'm fucking here for it. So those are the reasons I love this fight. And look, I don't want BENAVIDEZ to stay on the shelf, right? I mean, a lot of these fighters seem to be waiting for the Canelo phone call. No. Have fights. Have meaningful fights that set you up for other meaningful fights. If Canelo doesn't want to fight, you move on. There are still other fights out there. Maybe not others that pay the check that Canelo pays, and maybe not others that kind of give you the adulation that a Canelo win would do. But again, if he kind of just looks at it and thinks, okay, if I beat Gvozdyk, I potentially put myself in line for the win of Beterbiev versus Bivol, then mate, man. And you know what? I feel like it needs an injection, the 175 division, because obviously all of the guys over here have had their crack apart from Buatsi against the champions, right? All of them. When you think about Callum Smith, Yard, Craig Richards, forward to go, Callum Johnson. And you kind of feel, okay, who next for Beterbiev and Bivol? All of a sudden, BENAVIDEZ. I'm here for it. Anthony Joshua warned against falling into NGANNOU's traps. Yeah, we are T-minus 14 days, 2 weeks away, people. Just 2 weeks away. This has come round so quick. It feels like I was in Saudi Arabia the other day working on the AJ Ottavolim fight, and all of a sudden we've got AJ versus Francis Ngannou. By the way, a really good undercard, you know, like not many people are talking about Joseph Parker Zhang. I mentioned it yesterday. What a great fight that is. What a great fight. Zhang coming off beating Joe Joyce and Parker coming off beating Wilder. It's incredible. I mean, if they didn't win those 2 fights, say those 2 were semi-finals, then you would be looking at Wilder Zhang. I mean, do you know what I mean? Oh, sorry, Wilder Joyce, which a lot of people were screaming for. These 2 knocked those 2 guys down. They beat them. So, yeah, honestly, really good matchup. Ray Vargas versus Nick Ball. I mean, bloody hell. Honestly, this is what Saudi is doing. They're putting on really good fights and then really good fight cards. And that's what we as boxing fans want to see. I think the ring walk something like 2 a.m, which I think for UK fight fans is around 10 o'clock in the evening. I am excited to get out there. But let's talk a bit more about the matchup. Look, AJ... This matchup plays out how AJ wants it to play out. If AJ wants to make this tough and tricky and risky, then he gets into a shootout with NGANNOU, which is very silly. And I don't think Lee Wiley and Ben Davison would let that happen. Do you know? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, NGANNOU could dictate how this plays out as well. But I think AJ, being the boxer of the 2, should be able to kind of dictate where he wants his fight to go. AJ... Let's not forget, I know he had a limited amateur experience, but that limited experience brought him a lot of success. AJ is a very good boxer. He could just jab and move, jab and move, jab and move, and tire out NGANNOU and make this quite a boring 10-rounder, but just win it on points comfortably. I think he wants to send a bit of a message to, I guess, Tyson Fury, who fought NGANNOU last, right? I think he's going to want to put the pedal to the metal a little bit and get rid of NGANNOU. And I think he should be able to. I know NGANNOU is thick-set and tough and strong, but I think AJ could tire him down the stretch. So I'm not just talking about a one-punch KO, because I think NGANNOU could take a couple. I think he can take more than that. But I'm talking about just tiring him out, pepper him to the body, which we know AJ's got a very good jab to the body. That uppercut has always been good for AJ. For me, AJ's money punch is that uppercut, left hook, right uppercut, left hook, right uppercut, left hook. That left hook's done a lot of damage over the years, and so has the uppercut. And I think that's the shot you almost set NGANNOU up with. So look at me, Mr. Boxer. But I think you go body jab, body jab, which ultimately brings the guard down of a fight, doesn't it? Because you try and protect that body. And then as they're down, you go uppercut, left hook. That's what I think anyway. That being said, NGANNOU is a bit of a force. I was lucky enough to be there for the Fury fight, and you could immediately tell that Fury was like, okay, what the fuck's this? Like, this guy looks like he can box a bit. Whereas, remember all the clips beforehand that were tricking people, like people were laughing at him hitting the pads and hitting the bag. And I said, I done videos about it. I said, this guy is just tricking us. This guy can box a little bit. Not a great boxer, but he can box a little bit. And he's powerful. He's strong. And I think he's going to bring some problems to Anthony Joshua, but and I'm not just saying this as an AJ fan, because I'm actually a fan of both. AJ should win this fight and should win it quite comfortably. I mean, you strip it all back. You strip away the size and all that bullshit. NGANNOU's had 1 pro boxing fight. 1. I mean, AJ is a unified heavyweight champion of the world that's been in there with some really good kids. Yes, he's taken a couple of L's and a couple of defeats, but he's been in there with them. This shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. It's funny I mentioned Ben Davison and Lee Wiley. It's almost like we've just moved on from Derek James. Look, obviously, we don't know what's happened with Derek James. I guess, well, we do. He's no longer with AJ. But I'm guessing AJ sat down and had that conversation with Derek. It's weird, that, isn't it? Like, it's not often you win and leave a trainer. You know what I mean? It's normally the other way around, right? If something didn't go right, you leave. I mean, AJ looked okay against Elenius, right? Okay against Jermaine Franklin, but yeah, obviously decided that that Ben Davison is right for him, and we move on. But yeah, looking forward to getting out there in a couple of days. Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin on course for WBA lightweight title fight. Okay. I'm guessing this will be part of the PBC Amazon deal, obviously pay-per-view as well. Don't mind it. Don't mind it at all. Frank Martin's solid. Obviously, there was a lot of talk about Frank Martin versus Shakur Stevenson. That one seemed to just, I don't know, stop. When was the last time Frank's been in the ring? It feels like he's not been in the ring for a minute. So that being said, by the time Gervonta gets in the ring, he wouldn't have been in the ring for over a year as well. Let's have a look. Last time he was in the ring was the 15th of July. Unanimous decision, close one as well. I didn't even realize. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the guy's name, but the guy he fought was 12-0, and scorecards were 115, 112, 115, 112, 114, 113. Close, but yeah, looks like that fight is done. Look, I don't mind it. I mean, Frank's an unbeaten fighter. He's definitely a top 10 lightweight. There are some good kids coming through, but he's definitely that. Do you remember his little interaction with Keyshawn Davis? That's a fight that could happen down the line. But yeah, I'm not sure. All right, let's have a look and see if there is anything else. Let's have a look. 1 second, peeps. Not much. Not much. Let me quickly. I just want to quickly go to Dan Raphael. I saw him tweet something. Raphael's Twitter. Okay, it's basically just on the lines of Benavidez isn't waiting for Canelo. It's pretty much saying that Benavidez Vosdik fight is pretty much done. Also, Gulamarian, whose name I always mess up, I hope that's the right name, is fighting. What's his name again? Gilberto Ramirez, Zerdo, March 30th. That's a good. Golden Boy have actually started to put some good cards together, or good main events together, should I say? But yeah, that looks like it's happening for Gulamarian's world title. But yeah, okay, cool. Short and sweet. We are done. I am gonna try and get G-Man over. I think you guys love when G-Man gets here, and do some videos in the lead up to AJ NGANNOU. Obviously, before I fly out, hopefully we can get some done. But yeah, all right, guys. Peace and love.